The new Pokemon Unite patch is amazing, and dare I say it, saves Pokemon Unite. Now, not everything that needed to change gotta change, but this is a huge step forward for the issues in the game. So let's get into it, starting off with Greninja. Now, I don't know what this bug fix is about the slow on hit, but it appears a lot. I just want to talk about the Double Team and Water Shuriken nerfs. So Double Team clones now deal less damage, and Water Shuriken has a slightly longer cooldown. Now, I still considered Surf to be the best moveset pre-patch, but Water Shuriken was just getting ridiculous because it got all these buffs and then made it to where like the clones were actually reliable. So Water Shuriken shouldn't be allowed to do that much damage on so little skill cap while having auto-targeting. Like, it just kind of made Greninja way too annoying to deal with in, like, 1v1 situations or 1v2 situations, and it really removed a lot of counterplay, but Surf is, like, your big pop-off teamfight win moveset, and now there's actually, like, a decision to be made, instead of, clones are busted, the auto-targeting is going to ruin someone's day, and then the Water Shuriken shouldn't perform that well, but the clones are busted, so it's overperforming. So, I mean, like, alright, Greninja, way less annoying. Let's see it. Now, Lucario Nerfs. The steadfast shield value needed a nerf. It's needed a nerf for so long. The last nerf to Lucario was barely anything. So I don't know like what is going on with like Lucario being overpowered or not. Like, I don't think it's that crazy. But for some reason, Power Up Punch getting a nerf. Extreme Speed has always been the best moveset since launch. After watching the Japanese championships, or like the Winter Cup or whatever they had, it wasn't even a championship, yeah, it was just like the winter tournament. After watching the Japanese winter tournament, they were running Extreme Speed on Lucario because it's the best moveset. So if you want to nerf Lucario, you have to hit its base AD harder, you have to hit the Meteor Mash or the Quick Attack hard so it can't scale as easily, or you just need to really gut the Extreme Speed, but then Lucario kind of becomes useless. So, I don't know, however, this is going to be huge on that early push. Lucario does not get the infinite safety anymore, even though the steadfast 30-second to 60-second nerf was pretty substantial. It wasn't enough, and it's cool to see this. So, Covet, cooldown increase, buff duration decrease, and the speed is lowered. Greedent, I just consider it an annoyance. Like, if you ignore Greedent, you win the game, kind of like how it is against Slowbro. Like, Slowbro is just a completely worthless character. Greedent, it's just there to troll you, and if you fall into the troll and get baited and lose like 30 seconds just trying to run it down throughout the course of a game, then yeah, it's just going to get away with all that stuff. So the cooldown increase, that's good to see. I think the buff duration was something that always needed to be hit, because it being able to be unstoppable for 7 seconds and have like the wacky momentum and stuff, yeah, that's something. And also, movement speed is the best stat in any MOBA or any kind of like competitive action game or something, so lowering the movement speed, also very important. Really, it's like mostly the movement speed that makes Venusaur have its moments of being strong. Zeraora Nerfs are finally here. I don't know why the devs just allowed the game to be unplayable for so long because of Zeraora being busted and a lot of other issues with the game that are being worked on. So, I mean, like, damage on the discharge being hit pretty hard. The per level's also strong. The base is strong. I don't know what this means, like, overall for the numbers, because discharge gets 8 ticks worth of damage. So, losing 8 times 6 AD ratio, especially with, like, Zeraora's passive going on, like, Zeraora's just somehow chilling at, like, 800 damage or something. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of substantial. 1 per level. Maybe that also matters quite a bit, because at level 10, now we're actually talking about losing another 80 damage. The base doesn't matter with all the other values. And then the shield value decreased as well. So, yeah, Zeraora just doesn't get to be the most busted Pokemon for free anymore. Also, the controls adjusted on Spark, if that's like a beneficial change to where like Spark doesn't just wackily not work sometimes if it feels like you're doing correctly. That is like a quality of life bug fix buff kind of thing, but it's not enough to offset this. Like, it's not like, oh man, Spark works now, so Zeraora needed some kind of toning. No, like, Zeraora always needed nerf, but now, like, that was insane. And Plasma Gale getting gutted. Plasma Gale hit again for the damage. So now, like, yeah, that also looks rather significant. Don't know that's the big one right there, that base. My goodness. Yeah, this thing's, Zeraora's just lost like 1,000 damage in discharge plus Unite move, and So some of those like team fights where it was winning 1v5 were on those razor thin kind of margins. Talonflame, Aerial Ace cooldown reduced to incentivize the Aerial Ace. Because that's the move, right? It's acrobatics then Aerial Ace. So yeah, Aerial Ace getting the buff. Interesting. The problem is, Fly Flame Charge is just too toxic. Like, you're not going to get more people into the Aerial Ace by buffing it. You need to nerf Flame Charge, and you need to nerf Fly. Now, Fly does get a nerf. Movement speed reduced. So that means, like, I guess there's more chances where Talonflame doesn't make it to you to blow you up from across the map, or doesn't fully escape while trying to fly away. It's still, like, the cooldown was the problem, because, like, it just flies in, Flame Charges away, 3 seconds later flies back in, and then just KOs everyone. It's so much damage on so little counterplay, but the movement speed reduction helps on that. And again, I don't think Aerial Ace is going to disincentivize the Flame Charge, because all you do is that one unhealthy, toxic play pattern. And now we get into the good stuff. Now we get into what makes this a game-saving patch. Actually, there's also the other notes that, like, everything from here on out, it's just great. Also, I do like the Greninja thing and the Lucario nerf. Like, all of this stuff is welcome, and I don't see any, like, nonsense. I don't see anything that's like, wait, why'd they do that? Like, all of this just makes the game better. So let's go into Snorlax. Progression levels reduced by 1. So that means Snorlax learns all of its moves 1 level earlier, including the Unite move and move upgrades. That's something. Now, Block bug fix. Block no longer has Block Plus's damage reduction. Block Plus's damage reduction now actually works properly. Yeah, there was like some weird things where I was like, this move doesn't behave like it feels like sometimes from just reading the tooltip. Also, Flail duration increase. Flail was the trash moveset. Flail was never good. So I mean, like this is one of those things where I say by nerfing something that's bad, you actually improve the health of the Pokemon, because it makes it to where, like, yeah, now there's just people are just going to be performing better because they're not troll picking on the flail anymore. Same thing happens when you buff something that's bad and then people move to that, like with Ninetales. Like, you shouldn't be running Avalanche or Blizzard on the Ninetales, and by buffing those, that means you're putting people onto that, and then you're reducing the win rate of Ninetales because it's still better on the thing that didn't get adjusted. But yeah, the progression's kind of crazy. So now Snorlax being able to heavy slam at level 5 and block at level 7 is nasty. That's going to be some, like, mid-game team fight swinging that Snorlax really, really needed. Especially when you can just, like, block, corral a team off of one of the objectives. Getting level 7 as a laner for the first Dreadnought is kind of rough, but it means, like, the conversion into the Rotom is going to be interesting. Unless solo top Snorlax. Like, Snorlax tackle is some of the best secure in the game. So, this might be an idea of putting Snorlax top. Now, it doesn't have carry levels of damage. I played Beta Snorlax. Beta Snorlax has the carry levels of damage, but yeah, this is actually looking pretty good. We'll see how that goes. Gardevoir, same thing, and the Garchomp. So, 2 of the strongest carries in the game. Gardevoir being one of the best late game special attack carries, Garchomp being the best in-game carry in the entire game. Actually scaling even better. The evolution levels both reduced by 1. You are Gabite at level 5. That is nuts. That is nonsense. That didn't need to happen. Like, you can have level 6, level 9, and Garchomp is still busted. Garchomp is busted right now. Garchomp is one of the best characters in the game, but idiots don't know how to play the game. That's why the game is dead, and all these fraud content creators don't even understand how anything works, so they trash on all the good stuff, and they promote all the bad stuff. Because popular opinion, because that's what happens when your popular opinion is based on the idiots in the game, but 90% of the people don't know how to play the game. So now, I'm actually worried this nerfs Garchomp. You know why? Garchomp is now going to be way too strong, way too oppressive, way too overperforming, and then it's going to get nerfed into the ground. Maybe not on the progression, but everything, like its base stats, like it's going to get more of a nerf than Lucario got, and it's just going to be ugly. It's going to get like one of those true Giga nerfs, because there's like 2 Pokemon that have gotten gutted. Like Cinderace at one point, Sylveon after like it was just super busted on launch, and yeah, then we've just been seeing a lot of like progressive nerfs or something. There's also someone else that was like, oh, this Pokemon just unplayable now. So I'm worried that even though this is great for the Garchomp, it ruins what Garchomp is. Garchomp is supposed to be you strategically try to get yourself into that level 10 in a healthy game state, or even like a behind game state, Garchomp hits the level 10 while a little behind, and it still just completely swings the game back. So by making Garchomp spike earlier, and if this does end up in a nerf, which it has to end up in a nerf, because now Garchomp is the best character in the game. So if this ends up in a nerf, then that means Garchomp isn't the Giga Ultra Mega carry in the late game anymore, and it's just kind of like on the same tier as Machamp or something, or like you might as well just go back to playing Lucario, because it's going to lose a lot of what makes it Garchomp. But until then, like for this patch, it's going to be the strongest Pokemon ever. Like, it was already working to be one of the better ones, and everything, all the moves come online earlier, so you're getting Dragon Claw, Dragon Rush, and that was a big thing. I'm like, man, if only I had this at like level 7 or level 5 for your mobility move, that just completely breaks the Pokemon. Maybe people just still suck on it, and it goes under the radar for a bit. Unite move at level 9, that is unacceptable. Like, the weird thing is they change all these Unite moves, but then Zeraora is still going to be a level 10 Unite move, I believe. Everyone else got like removed off the level 10 Unite move because Snorlax is level 9 on that. I was reading that. I was like, when they say everything's reduced by 1, they mean everything's reduced by 1, and they meant everything's reduced by 1. So progression, moves, yeah, it's still level 10. Zeraora is now falling very far behind, but was also like super busted. Like maybe Zeraora is just strong now instead of the best Pokemon in the game. Oh, woe is him. So let's go, like, man, this is like Garchomp, right? We haven't even talked about what it means for Gardevoir. So yeah, like the level 9, that is unacceptable. That is also probably going to put, oh man, does that actually make jungle Garchomp viable? Because the reason why Garchomp wasn't viable in the jungle is because your level 5 gank does nothing and you put your entire team behind. Now, your level 5 gank has scoop potential, and you're also Gibble, so you're still pretty strong. And if you do it right, like you either charge stacks on the bees and then win the team fight, or you scare them off because you're Garchomp and they can only concede Vespiquen or else they lose the game. So like now jungle Garchomp is actually ridiculous, but also lane Garchomp's still pretty ridiculous. This is unhealthy. This is unhealthy. This is what happened. Like, you can't take bad players and do such a game-changing thing around them. Now I think Gardevoir wasn't as strong as Garchomp in the late game, and also wasn't as strong as mid game. Like, level 5 Gibble, still really strong. Gibble, really strong. Like, at all points in the game, there's a strong case for, like, Gibble, Gabite just working really well, and then getting you to your Garchomp. If you weren't fighting level 9 as a Gabite, you are trolling because you got a massive power spike in lifesteal and crit stats and stuff. So you just don't understand how the game works or how the Pokemon you're playing works. Gardevoir, however, is frail and useless and puntable the entire game. Ralts into Curlia is a very, very, very difficult life. So getting access to everything one level earlier, again, it's just like what the character needed. But I think now it makes Gardevoir just a touch too strong in the late game. But I don't think like the best Pokemon in the game. I think it's like just now the best caster in the game, or best special attack mage, whatever. And the weird thing is the devs hate mages. Pikachu is weak for no reason. Cramorant got multi-nerfed into the ground for no reason. Sylveon, it was understandable why it got nerfed so much, but Sylveon not really as much of a carry. But then Lucario, Zeraora, Talonflame allowed to exist in their current states until this nerf. So I mean, it's like, okay, this is like now we actually have a carry caster that can work at all stages of the game and is worth playing, because I think this is also good for the game when you think about it, in that level 6 is just too late in some situations. Like, bot lane's already lost. First objective is going to be hard contested, and then the Pokemon can never scale. Somehow, level 6 Future Sight and then level 8 Crowd Control is just way too late for Gardevoir to have any impact in the game. And then also the evolutions are coming online sooner, and the Unite move's coming online sooner. So now, Gardevoir actually gets to Unite move twice to 3 times in a game instead of once or twice. And if you come online super late, like 3 minutes 30 seconds, you can't risk your Unite move at 3 minutes 30. You have to save it for the Zapdos fight. So, yep, we got that going on. Mamoswine, same thing. High horsepower activates quicker. That's a buff. High horsepower was the play. Like, don't run Earthquake, don't run Ice Shard. good. This is like actually how you get people playing the correct movesets and something. This is a nice incentivization that doesn't completely overly crack the character or anything, and just makes everything work. Like, high horsepower Icicle Crash is the best moveset on Mamoswine, and Mamoswine was strong as is. Like, Mamoswine felt like a very competent level 10 scaler. You hit all of your breakpoints at what seems like a fair and nice time, but seems like the game has become so early skewed and like 1-1-3 and all the like experience disparities and strategies and stuff going on to where, okay, this actually just makes Mamoswine ridiculous. Mamoswine was already pretty good. Pretty good. And now Mamoswine's ridiculous because your Icicle Crashing level 7 like combo with the horsepower. And horsepower activating quicker means more reliability. That's crazy. So minor bug fixes on Eldegoss, Cramorant, Blastoise, Sylveon. Who knows yet? Maybe buffs, maybe nerfs. And then we get into the other nerfs. Nerfs notes. Goals. Heal on score, 25% hit points to 10% hit points. Score Shield is dead. Score Shield was already the worst item in the game. You were shit for even thinking at it as a viable option instead of just understanding how the game works. But now, this little change right here changes the entire dynamic of the early game, and that's what was making Pokemon Unite unplayable. Because, again, Score Shield, not good. And all you had to do was understand, don't let yourself get bullied. Like, someone found the optimization, someone realized that there's not enough, like, basic comprehension skills or inner monologue players out there, or above room temp IQ players to understand just, like, yeah, don't fight into it when they're just trying to cheese score. You just kind of play around the experience and try to get more out of it. That if Lucario just gives up A-palms and then, like, walks across the lane and then handshakes to go for a score, and then you go and just start taking everything else on their side of the map, and then, like, you counterplay it around it really well, you're coming out ahead in experience and potentially levels. Like, he gets the scores for his attack weight, but doesn't scale as hard as just being ahead of him and then using that to keep him down. However, there was too much safety in it. That you could have two people beating up on one Lucario, and then he gets a score, and then gets 25% of his health back. That's enough time for Steadfast into cooldowns, and it's like quick attack, flash away. So yeah, like the goal had no goal scoring had no counterplay to it, and it made it too aggressive, or like it made it just too unpunishable in some situations, especially like Greedent just scores and then covets away or something. So yeah, that stuff's unhealthy, and like this is only a good change, but I'm saying like the reasons why it got changed, kind of dumb that it needed to happen, because it was really just two Pokemon, maybe 3 or 4 or something, abusing it, and one mediocre strategy. But then it just kind of makes the game a garbage mess. So this is why I mean, like, just nerfing things to where it's like, hey, we want to kind of guide the direction of the game in a better direction. Also, it does kind of make it harder to counterplay. Like, if you're getting pushed on goal 3v2, even though you, like, the goal with the citrus berries and stuff can be good to defend, if you're about to take out someone, they only have, like, 1 point or, like, 3 or something, they instant score, get back 25% of their health. Well, now you're just getting bullied in a mismatch, which shouldn't happen to the way that it does. And then there's also times where, like, the goal is oppressively too defensive, but now it seems like it's not defensive enough. So, yeah, I think the game's actually healthy now. Because now you're not supposed to be, like, diving into their flux zone at level 4 and greeding that hard. Don't greed, and then the game's a little better now. Awesome, cool. And now you can, like, find the opportunities to where someone that shouldn't have gotten away with something now does not get away with it because of the changes that we have. Middle goal healing is up. Good. I feel like, yeah, middle goal is just kind of inconsequential. You shouldn't be pushing into it because, like, spawn pad or something, but, like, shenanigans happen, and if that is getting pushed before spawn pad, middle goal is just gone. Shield value increase, which is also pretty good. So, as much as I hate the comeback mechanics in the game, preventing snowball mechanics, I think, are healthier, and this is more snowball prevention. Base goal, I don't like the increase on the base goal too much, because you already have the super long invulnerability coming out of the base, and then this just kind of makes it to where, like, yeah, you don't get base camp, but at the same time, if the team's ahead, and another team's trying to mount a comeback, and they have a chance for it, and then they just, like, get stalled out at the base, kind of annoying. Feel that, like, if the team that was behind, but has now scaled into, like, an even level 14, level 15 fight, with, like, 20 seconds on the clock in the opponent's base, the opponent shouldn't have too much of an advantage to, like, defend that if the fights should be going even to make those scores happen or something. Kind of like anti-Zapdos, whatever. Amount of energy dropped on death adjusted. Citrus berries now vanish post 5 minutes regardless of our goals. That's also pretty good. It means that the team that's ahead doesn't just get to keep gatekeeping you on citrus berries and goal shenanigans. Amount of energy dropped. I don't know what the adjustment means. More dropped, less dropped. So I don't know what that means for the game. If it's more, then that also prevents, like, snowballing. So yeah, it's like, you don't just get to get away with, like, a stupid comp and then stupid decisions and then just roll over children. I guess that's a good idea. Because, like, yeah, after watching the Japan thing and Twitch Rivals, the game's just awful. There's just, like, no skill expression in the game, and it's just a tragedy to watch. So this is actually going to change, like, a lot of that. We still need item adjustments. We still need a couple of other things to go on, but, like, this is huge. And then master rank adjusting, so that increases more easily. That's nice, being able to float that master rank. Then ranked match performance point system has been adjusted. Players now prevent the loss of elo after a ranked match in exchange for the performance point deduction. So instead of just, like, being at the bottom, like, it's not ranked down prevention anymore. It's just that you just don't feel the loss if you have the threshold met, and that's really good because you could just get unlucky. And that's one of the dumbest things about ranking up. Like, let's say you rank up and then you have like 300 performance points and then you lose 3 times in a row, and then like you just get that prevented from being lost, so you kind of just get like 3 free losses and then you go on another win streak. Whereas if you win streak a bit, lose at the wrong time, and then like win streak not enough and then lose at the wrong time, like it just takes twice as many wins to end up in the same place, even like with the same amount of win streaks, as it did for someone that just ranked up at a luckier time. So like the dynamics of that just kind of got awkward or something. Also, it feels like really bad if you blow your free win going into a rank up and then immediately lose or something, and then like you're actually behind, whereas if you just like lost and then won twice. So the game's got some weird stuff going on. But yeah, so that's going to make ranking up easier. We don't need any more Masters players, though, because Master players are already trash, and Ultra, like, if I see an Ultra player at this state of the game, I'm like, alright, you're just bad. And, like, you shouldn't just be floating into Masters. But making Master rank up easier, that's good and bad. Like, it just, I guess it makes no-lifing still no-lifing, but catching up to no-lifers better. So, there we go. The Garchomp change, I love it as a now Garchomp main, because all my other characters have just been nerfed into not being as good. But this is now going to get my baby nerfed, and yeah, now everyone's going to be like, oh man, Garchomp's good now, even though Garchomp was always good, and I hate it when frauds get away with just, like, BS like that. The game change is going to be cool to see, and yeah, everything else looks pretty nice. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.